What's up everybody, I'm Jesse Showalter and welcome back to the series all about designing and coding a responsive landing page from start to finish. In the last episode we worked on that big discount section, and today we're going to be coding out the download section that just has a couple of components in it. We are really close to being complete with the project. I don't want to waste any more time, I want to dive in. Let's get to it. Okay, let's jump right in and start coding this download section. You can see I have my sketch file open so I can see the work that we need to get done today. And I've already taken the liberty of exporting out this big, colorful background image, as well as these two icons for the App Store and the Google Play Store. And you can see in our browser, this is where we left off. We have our cards built, we have our offer section going and looking really, really good. And now we had this just temporary download section that we had placed inside of there. So, with all that being said, let's start coding some HTML. I'm going to close my discount. Now I have these filler styles that I put inside of my download section. So I'm just gonna collapse my discount section tag. And I'm gonna come inside, and of course we're gonna wanna do div with a class of wrapper. Let's just come back up like that. Make sure everything stays inside, so that's really, really good. And let's do a big H2. And we're gonna say download anywhere, okay? And yeah, let's do our p tag with our lorem ipsum, and let's, I don't know, what is that, like 25 words? Cool, okay, looks pretty good. And then we're gonna wanna do two buttons. Let's go A with a class of button, like so. I'm gonna stub that. Then inside of there, we're gonna do like another class called Apple, and let's just take this whole A tag, copy it, and we will do Google right there, okay? They probably need some links or some text inside, so App Store there, and we'll do Play Store right there, okay? Let's go back and look at our browser and see what we have. Okay, so far so good. Now it's just up to the CSS. So let's jump into our download section, and we are going to get rid of this background, and we're gonna say background with a URL. Okay, and after the URL, let's just do like, no repeat, because we know that's gonna happen. So we'll come into our URL and just put some parentheses. We're gonna go out of the CSS, which is // into the images, and then we're gonna find download, I think I named it background.jpg. Okay, let's save that and see if we get it. Sure enough, there is our image. We wanna make sure that the background size to that covers. We're gonna want everything inside of here to show up as white text, and we are gonna want to align all the text to the center, obviously. And I'm just gonna move this over so we get a little bit cleaner on the CSS. Okay, okay, so far so good. If we just move our design right here, what needs to happen next? We need to contain all of our content so the text isn't like spreading all the way out and having this massive width, because that's just not attractive. It doesn't read well. And also we want to bump up the style of our H2 that's in there, make it look like it does right here. I mean, we want it to look like an H1, like the same H1 that's up here, but we don't want it to be an actual H1. We just want it to look real big and in your face. So, and then we need to add the styles to the buttons. So, okay, not too bad. So let's just do that. So we can come in here, we're in download, and let's do the H2 that's in there. And let's just, open up our typography really quick. Yeah, what's going on there? Let's do that. We'll take all the styles that are there and we can just duplicate them into there. We should get, there it is, starting to look exactly like we want it to. Let's take our p tag and let's give it a width. Obviously we want it to go 100%, but let's now give it a max width of, let's say, 350 pixels. We could measure it in Sketch and just say how wide is that? 480? Okay, so let's do 450 instead. Let's see how that turns out. Okay, And then we're gonna say margin 0 auto. Okay, that's looking kind of like it's supposed to. I feel like we have too much text though. We probably need to cut like half of it out. So that's looking a little bit better. Let's just take the text. I hate messing around with word counts, character counts. It bothers me. Okay, I just want to know that it looks exactly like it's supposed to. Okay, font size, we're going to take away this line height though, because we don't need any sort of line height. And we're going to say margin 0 and just bring it really close down to there. We forgot, I was in the middle of doing a section with an ID of footer, okay, and then putting like a big H1 inside of it saying footer, because I want to be able to like get underneath it a little bit and see it in the browser. That's just a personal pet peeve or preference. I just need some breathing room. Okay, so far it's looking pretty close. We just need to mess with these buttons, and obviously we need to give the section, I think, a little bit more weight. So we did text align. Let's do font weight 900. Oh, that's right, whoops. We can't put font weight on like a containing element. We need to put it on the actual element we want to affect that has a font like interacting with it. So that's important to remember. Okay, since we've taken the margin off of our H1, we could just do a little bit of padding like top and bottom on our paragraph, and that's going to space it out both ways. Okay, next thing we got to do is we have to affect these specific buttons, right? So these each have a class of, here, I'm going to hide my tray over there really quickly so we have a little bit more space. These each have like a class of button, and they each have their own individual class, right? So if we are inside of download, we could affect the buttons, right? So just so you see this should probably override the normal button styles because these come after as the style sheet is compiled by Sass. So if I just said like background red, we're going to be more specific than that general button class, and we can therefore affect it. We don't want the background to be red, but we might want the width to be like a certain thing, right? We might want a little bit of margin in between it, not top or bottom, but like maybe 20 pixels to the left and to the right. Or when you put 20 and 20 together, you get 10. So you actually just want kind of like 20 in between them, like that. It's about 35. So we could just do 15 like that, and you're looking very, very close, okay? Then we have the question of how do we want to actually implement the icons of the Apple or the Play Store inside the buttons? Do we want to just put like an image there? Because that seems like it should not be there. It's a stylistic element, right? It has no real need for it to be like an image element that's actually embedded into the HTML. It should be a style, but we can't make it a background style. I think a better thing to do would be to use pseudo-elements in this case. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna write some pseudo-element selectors for both of them, and then do one little tweak or change to kind of affect each individual icon. So first things first is we'll go Apple, and then we're gonna go before. So now we're going to do a before pseudo element. Something's going to show up before it, and that's because I'm looking at my design and I want the icons to come before the text, right? So I'm going to go before. We are going to position absolute, and we are going to display block, and we got to give it some kind of like distance from the, the different coordinates of its parent element. Let's just start out going 20 pixels from the left and like 20 pixels from the top or something like that. And then we need to give it its background image. But we don't want it to be a background image, we want it to be content, right? So let's do content, and instead of, you can write parentheses here and write test, test, test. We can just see how that works if anything's happening. Let's see. Why would it not be happening? Oh, you know what? Before we do any of that, I bet you there's a rogue element on the page. Look at that. Okay, this is a really good lesson. So I made these absolute, right? I made my word test like absolutely positioned. And you're thinking, where is it in the button? Well, we didn't define what container or parent it's relative to. So now it's like it's being put all the way up at the top and it's all wonky, right? Because that's the last relative container that it knows. This is like a parent and child relationship. So my kids are absolutely positioned to me because I am their relevant parent. Does that make sense? Okay, great. So what we need to do is just come up into our button that is inside of download, specific like download button. We want to make sure that that is positioned relative. And now when I press save, what we should see is the word test pop up here inside of the button. Okay, so far so good. We can do more than just words or empty spaces inside of the content designator in CSS. We can also put images. So let's do ... images. And what on earth did we call that guy? We called it Apple icon. Okay, so I'm gonna say Apple icon, and I think it's a PNG. Now that should also be an SVG because it's really, really simple, but it's not. So here we go. So we're gonna drop that in and we get a little Apple icon, okay? So that's kind of nice. And the cool thing is you can't drag this out because nothing on that is an image. So that's really, really cool. Now we just need to space it out a little bit. I feel like that's pretty good. It looks pretty centered. You could probably bring it in like another maybe 2% or something to make sure that the whole thing is contained there. But for the most part, I think that's pretty good. Now, what we could do is we could just duplicate, put a comma, and then put Google before. That's misrepresenting Google though, so we don't want that. But we do like all of these styles. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write a new CSS selector, and those can be specific to each one, like that. And I'll just take that guy right there and put it down below. And I'm gonna say, what is the other one called? It's called the play icon, okay? Whoa, I messed up because now this needs to be Google before. Okay, so there we go. We used pseudo-elements. We created one combined selector right here that affects both of the buttons. Now if we moved something in, it's gonna move both of the elements, which is nice. We do less work, we write less code. And then down here, we've just specified that the content for each individual one is like so. I think all in all, this is looking really, really good in comparison to our initial design. So I'm happy with it. I'm gonna go ahead and push all the changes that we made right here up to the repo. I'm just gonna say finished download section. And then let's just put like some thumbs up right here because I'm excited about that. And I'm gonna commit that and I'm going to push. And now we're pushing all of our changes up there. We're going to sync. Okay, everything's pretty good. Now we can just make a pull request, the discount section. Yep. Actually the download section. Okay, so we'll send that pull request and we will come into our repo. I'll see the pull request. It's the discount section. It says, yes, I want to merge that in, and everything should have been merged. Okay, bueno. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back in and our master branch should be looking the exact same. See that? Our master branch is looking exactly the same. No, it's not. Why is it not? Master branch, discount branch? Uh-oh. Because we need to sync and pull all of the most recent changes down, And now it is. Oh my gosh, I scared myself. I was like, what did I do? So yeah, I updated the master branch and then I needed to re-pull all the changes down from the master. So now that we have updated the master and we've synced all the files, you can see I'm currently on my master branch and it has all of those changes right there. I'm just gonna go in and switch my branches, come up to branch, and I'm gonna delete the discount section because I don't need that feature branch anymore. And that's it, we're back to our master branch and we can create a new branch for our footer and so on and so forth. But that's it. Well, that's it. We're finished with the download section and we're almost completely done with the project. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments. And also if you liked the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. There's a few more videos left in this series, but lots more content coming on the channel. I hope you guys are having an amazing week, designing amazing things, coding amazing things, and I hope you're enjoying the process. I'll see you in the next one.